am live here on Substack, and I cannot believe I've gone live and someone got some sad news, but yeah, let's not be distracted. So we're looking at avoiding messy AI code. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I have something that I'm going to go through with you so we can look at it together. And we're also going to open, I believe, Lovable. I believe I've got that available. So I wanted to, right, this is just going to give me a few prompts whilst we are talking. So let me share my screen with you right now. Here we go. Close all these other screens I don't need. There we go. The window, there we go. So, stop burning API credits. These are your app credits. Now, when you use AI and you type in a quick prompt, help me to create a website that sells my lit products at this website and make it sell like crazy. Now, you'll probably get something looking really good. But then there will be bits that are not quite correct. They don't really represent your brand well. And then you're a bit confused yourself, let alone customers looking at it. And then you'll proceed to continue prompting to get it to create more and more what you would like it to do. But then what that does, it takes away some of the credits that you need. So the credits are kind of like tokens, thinking tokens, the time it takes to crawl through the web to get information to put together a design that looks like what you want. And then if you haven't given it the color schemes, a design, images, you're continually prompting and prompting and prompting. So you start burning up your API credits. So the hidden cost, so up to 40%, you could say, of your API token usage can be wasted on poorly structured AI generated code, or what we call prompts, vibe coding. So when it's messy, unoptimized, that means that you're not using any keywords, you're not using anything that will make it easy for your app to be found, or for people to even want to find it, or for the Apple and Android, for you to even put it on the Apple or the Android store. You'd have to then go through the optimization process, etc. It can cause bloated token consumption, and then you just have all this code, and then it's constantly having to fix and correct errors. So then your costs are going to skyrocket, and the code bases are going to become impossible to maintain or to scale. So it's really important that you plan. This is why I keep talking about planning before you go straight into what many what I call boutique prompting. So somebody gives you, here's the best code you could use, um, but it doesn't take into consideration, all the color codes and all the other things you need to be considering. So that's that. Please excuse me. Just had a, yeah, 1 minute. So you need to avoid messy code, and have more professional AI code. When I say professional, it's more structured. So messy AI code is unstructured queries or prompts, and it's full of redundant data. These are some of the things that the terms of reference used in coding. Data calls. It's difficult to maintain and debug, and there's a high API token consumption. So it's really important to avoid messy AI code and plan. So more of a professional architecture. Um, when it says clean schema design and normalized structures, now this is coding language, but in real language, what we're saying is give it the correct um, the correct coding for your colors. Tell it what fonts you want it to use. Give images that you want it to use. Um, Tell it exactly what your product is all about. So you would have done that in a Word document. It could have a table, and it uses that database. It uses that frame of reference, that schema design, to create something that is maintainable and can be used again and again. And you can actually create an app that is a template that others may buy. So this is how you get apps that people want to buy. Because as I said before, when we are using this kind of prompting vibe coding, what you're actually creating is an MVP, a minimal viable product. You're not creating a full-blown app. A lot more goes into it than just the pretty screen you see at the front. In the back end, there is a lot more things that needs to be done, which is why you would see other companies that will talk to you about auditing your app and looking at the structure of your app in the back end and to optimize it. This is when you've got, so your MVP is just to test out your app, see if it's something that people want. And if you get high demand, this is where you need to get specialists that help you to fulfill that software application, that app packaging that keeps your app running continuously, is easy to maintain, and as technology changes, it's scalable. You can make the changes quite easily. Anyone can look at the code who's a coder, and they can make the changes for you without question, without having to rewrite the whole thing. So you'll have efficient modular queries. These are the back end terms, queries, and up to 40% token savings. That's AI tokens, and there's full scalability, as I was saying earlier. Okay, so let's move on to some of the core principles. Now, normalizing data is making sure that the data that you use, especially if you're going to use data within your app, is correct. It's not full of mistakes. The AI will not hallucinate, and 1 + 1 will always equal 2. Yeah. So you need to normalize your data that is coming in through your app. So this is where you decide, and this is when, taking the time with me, you decide whether you want to create an app or you just want to create a landing page as it were, that works like an app, but it uses API integration with other things like your MailChimp, for instance, or when they click on a button, it goes to your school community. So the data's not handled within the app. So it makes it a lighter version of the app, and you find that the integrated software handles the data normalization that is required. And so you need to improve the integrity of your app. So use clear, consistent naming conventions. So when I'm doing databases, I use tables, fields, and this is where the app needs to collect data and deal with the data. So there are some technical terms here, but you just need to make sure it's clean and minimize the amount of calls and usage of tokens, AI tokens, in your app when the user uses it. So then it makes it so much easier for you. So we are going to do a live build in Lovable. Well, actually, we've done one already. So I'm going to log into Lovable and we're going to prompt again. But this time I'm going to show you one. This is one I've prepared before, and track back so that you can see the prompt that I used, which is almost 2 pages long. So you can see what I mean about being very clear about what you need, because it makes such a difference in the result that you get at the end. Yeah. So clean prompts lead to clean code, and clean code saves your API credits. I cannot say enough, because if you do it too much, you will find that you're spending a lot on subscriptions for an app that's not making any money and is full of trouble. So that's not what you want. Okay. So let me just stop sharing for now. As I go and I go and look. If I could just share this one last thing with you, it would be to say, it would be this: have yourself a prompting strategy. So be explicit about your design standards in your prompt. This is talking about database, and that's if you want your app to actually handle data. Request more modular, well commented. Well, this is code snippets. You're not going to use code snippets, but when you tell the AI app building software precisely what to do, then what will happen is the coders that would look to scale, make your software more scalable, they will find that it will be well commented code. You can actually go into the code. Some of it is HTML, Jackson, JSON. And you can actually go and make some comments in your code yourself, but that is usually when you subscribe to Lovable, Base 44, etc. And use examples and constraints to steer your AI output. So you might give it examples of competitors. I'm not sure that's the best way, but you could give it a website. You could give it examples using a screenshot of something that you found, of what you would like, what you don't like, that kind of thing. Now, the reason why I said using other people's websites may not be a good idea, as I explained to you the other day, I put in my website and I asked it to create me an app that will, that people will sign up, etc., etc. But what happened, the website I had was a redirect to a Canva template that, although I had my own text on the template, what the AI did, it created an app on the basis of the original template coding that would have been in the back end of that Canva website. So that's why I said it's not always the best to use a website, because you don't know if they've done a redirect, or the result of your app will be based on a template that has nothing to do with your business. And that's why I said it's really, really important that you have your own plan in place. So I'm going to go into Lovable. Let me see if I could. Yeah, I'm just looking. Want to log in. Let me see if I could find it. Okay, it's taking some time to log in. Yes, but do you have any questions? Any questions at this time, wherever you are, whatever platform you're using, and it could be after today. Do you have any questions? If you're in YouTube, type your questions in the chat and we will get back to you at some point. Okay, it's just going slower than I imagined. Let me see if I can find the Word document that I used. No, I can't. Okay, we're in Lovable now, so let me just share that screen. Here we go. So I'm on a bit longer today. Normally I'm only here for 15 minutes, but in Lovable you can go to your projects. Here I have a few projects, and what I want you to notice here is I created one for food safety qualifications, and I used a Word document, and I was very specific about what I wanted. And with this one now, I used my book. I think I uploaded my book, and so it created an app on the basis of that. But let me see if I can do one. Let me go to create new project. Let me see if I can create one. Just acceptable. An app to sell my book, How to Start a Food Business from Home. Sorry, it's I type quicker. I type far quicker than the computer is working. Yeah, there we go. So it's all ready to build. So let's see what it will do. And then we will compare it to what I've created actually using my book, which is very specific. Now, this is what I like about Lovable. It asks you questions that helps you to create an app that is really specific to your needs. In base 44, that didn't happen. A lot of things I had to do myself. So that's the difference. You can either skip it, or you can actually identify it's a digital ebook. Yeah. Do you want a simple landing page, a full e-commerce store, a book launch page, So let's do a book launch page. So it thought for 6 seconds. So here it's going to tell you that it needs some details in order to set this up. So when people tell you that an AI app can be created in seconds or just 2 minutes, 5 minutes, we've been here about 4 minutes so far. So it does take time. Now, the reason why there's so much thinking going on, it's trawling the net and trying to find ideas to create something for you. If I gave it the exact colors, the exact fonts, everything that it needed, it would create the app that I did create using that kind of information within minutes. So just build the landing page first. The book is going to be $9.99. Okay, let's just make the book. Who is the book for? Food business owners and caterers confused with legislation and compliance needs by food inspectors. Let's just see. So we're still here waiting for the AI to make a decision as to what it's going to do next. So it's trying to answer your questions. Now, one of the things I noticed at the bottom, it says reuse work from other projects. So it could use the one that I created earlier and build on it. So that's why I said when you have a good design in the background, you use it as a template and it can be added as a reference. And AI has something to work with. Yeah, so it's not going to take so long. So as you can see here, it's taking far longer than we would have liked. I can't even preview. Now, when I used the Word document where I typed everything and I had tables, I had the data there, I gave it specific information, it was created within about 7 minutes, end to end. And then what I added after was the paywall, which was the connection with Stripe. I went into Stripe, created the URL, yeah, and all of those things. So it's still working on it. But in the meantime, I think you can, it's generating an image. In the meantime, let me just see what it will do if I went back. So if I went back to my projects now, you will see, oops, not this one. Oh dear. Let me just go back. If I go to this one, it's already published. and I preview. Desktop view. So there's a desktop view. Hold on, let me just close this window. So there's a desktop view, and you've got the. I think this is the desktop view, and yeah, the tablet view. Yeah. So if it was on the tablet, now in this particular one, I didn't only it's a link to an existing CTA, which is somewhere else. So I didn't need to build a paywall. I'm not really collecting information because they go somewhere else. So this is more of like a landing page. And there's also a bot which I created. Her name's Jane, and Jane will answer any questions that you may have. So when you click on Ask Jane, you can start a chat with her. I've got the colors that are consistent with the book. I've preloaded it with questions that Jane may ask you to help guide you as to what the questions may be, but you may have other questions here. And if Jane cannot answer that, she will then refer you back to me. So Jane's an AI sales assistant, and she's sharing information, but what I've done is ensured that I've encoded it in such a way that she will share enough information, but never more than is in the book. When I say more than is in the book, more, she will never share more than what is available for free. So you don't want to give everything out, but she will give sufficient so that a person can start working with it. So I need to start getting Jane working, and they can go back to the homepage. Now, all of this I told it to do. I told it to create an AI bot. I told it the name of the bot. I told it the questions to ask you, and I asked it to identify, to go back. I also allowed it to have more than one chat, so you could start a chat but then start a new one if you wanted. So all of this was created in the coding. Now, if you needed training, you just click on training and it will go to all the accredited training that is available. Let's say I went to start level 2, it's actually going to a website outside. If it was to go back to the book, hold on, get the ebook and all the templates, again, it's going to a website outside of. So it's not collecting any data. You don't have the issues with HIPAA, the ISO 27001, and other compliance issues, and WCAG. If all the CTAs are going out away from the app, so you keep your code clean and you make it scalable. And then when you want to, this is an MVP, it's a very light app. So when you are ready now, you can improve on your app, but this is my complete app. So I hope this was useful to you and that you will start creating your own AI app. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I hope you will start creating your own AI app and that you will have much success and keep your AI code clean and clear. Anyway, this is Janice, the AI app coach. We have 2 more live sessions, just 2 more to go. And then after that, only paid subscribers will be able to access and ask lots of questions. You can still ask questions in our normal chat, But it was nice doing business with you. And go to calendly.com. I'll put it here for you. So .com/Janice Weir-Jamir, which is my name, so that you can book yourself a slot and we can do some one-to-one together. Remember, there's only 5 founders, only 5 spaces. So I would like to be the one to help you get to where you are and scale. Thank you for your time.